I would like some input from the community about this idea of men paying for dates. I'm going to throw out what I think, and a lot of what I throw out is me developing ideas, thinking through ideas, sharing things I've come up with. But I don't know everything, and the modern dating world has really changed. Until probably 40 or 50 years ago, the man was the prime earner in the country and in the household. And at least since the industrial age, men and women have exchanged the following tasks, if you want to say, in a relationship. The man earns the money or works on the farm, he does the physical work, and he brings home the money. And the woman stays home, almost every time has children, raises the children, does the cooking, the grocery shopping, the house cleaning, um, the socializing. She takes care of the home. And that was a very big job. That was a very big job. You know, there was no takeout food. Often she had to walk to the store. When I was a baby, there were no paper diapers. You had to wash the diapers. So it was a very difficult job, and for the man too. Okay, now times have changed a lot. Men's ability to earn has declined significantly. Women's ability to earn has increased significantly. And our nation, which was a nation of savers, has become a nation of debtors, entitled debtors. And I also think that we have lost a sense of community by being more on our phones and become more as treating people as disposable. Couples used to meet at work, at school, in their community. In the early 90s, they started meeting through personal ads, which were placed in newspapers. But more and more people are trying to meet each other online. So it used to be by the time you had your first date with someone, you knew that person. You knew that person because, dating your high school sweetheart. You already had a connection before the first date. Or like in my case, I met my husband in college. I already knew him through sitting next to him in chemistry class, of all classes, before he asked me out. Or someone you work with. You may have worked on projects with that person. You've seen them. You've seen this person already. You've already had sort of dates. Not really, but you've seen that person on different days over a period of time. You've developed some kind of affection or bond, and based on that, ask the person out. At that point, a man may go, especially in the olden days when he was the main breadwinner and the roles were, I will be the provider, you will be the stay-at-home woman. And so the man would pay for dates, and the woman would be very appreciative, and they kind of fell into these roles. Well, since you're going to be the provider, you will start providing from the very first date. And the man took that on. And then the woman was expected to do the housework and have the children and so on. But the man would initiate with the paying. The woman wouldn't have sex right away. But maybe they would have sex right away. If they knew each other in high school and they started like going out and having sex, maybe it was all commingled. I don't know. But nowadays, I think a lot of women have become very entitled. They think they're all that, and they think that a man owes them. And I have been there myself. It's so nice to be, taken care of. Without having to do anything, and thinking that there's a Prince Charming, like they show you in the movies, who just wants to do everything for you. He wants to pay for you, and give you great sex and adore you. Well, that person doesn't exist. A one-way Prince Charming doesn't exist. That's called a simp. You'll get tired of him very quickly. And I suppose a man could think about this beautiful woman he sees in porn, you know. Every woman he goes out with is going to be like the porn model, the porn girl that gives him sex every day in all different ways that he wants. And, you know, she sews his clothes and irons his clothes and is the perfect mother. And I think we're just kind of like using each other as like mannequins or puppets. When the world has changed for men, their expectations have changed. The world has changed for men and the world has changed for women, and so the old rules don't apply. And when women go around all entitled, well, I'm not going to pay for anything, I don't think that's going to fly. Why would a man who has never met you want to pay for you? And why would a woman who doesn't know you want to have sex with you? I think it's the same thing. Because, see, again, historically, a man paid in exchange for you know, if we just break it down to duties, a man paid. I mean, yes, okay, there's a friendship and there's a companionship and there's a romance, but let's just talk about the things that we bring to the table. The man worked and paid in exchange for the woman being a mother, a housekeeper, a sex goddess or prostitute, let's say. Let's just use the word prostitute, because women would have sex with men who provided for them. And I'm using this in a kind way. I'm not using, to me, the word prostitute is not demeaning. It's just an exchange of resources. I will have sex with you and you will provide for me. And I have sex with you because I like you, and you provide for me because you like me. But as humans and as having healthy boundaries, we're not just going to be with people that we give to who give nothing back. A friendship has to be reciprocal, and a partnership has to be reciprocal and equal. Well, we want to give to the other person, and we want to be with people who give to us. So a healthy man going on a date with a woman he doesn't know, why would he want to pay for her? Now, if he knows you from the gym or from school or from work, I could see like, you know, I really like this girl. I want to take her out, but why would he pay? Now, I still am stuck with this. And I'll tell you why. Because I have, you know, I remember, well, I know a successful man in my family who used to share with me that he was a successful attorney in New York, and he would share with me how he would take these women out on these very expensive first dates. And they would order lobster or crab legs, whatever the most expensive thing was, and he could certainly afford it, but he started feeling used because these women would always order the most expensive thing on the menu. They started insisting on going out to eat every time, and he said, I don't expect her to take me out, but why doesn't she cook for me? They're just taking. And this man had a tendency to attract these types of women who would just take. And there are women like that. They have no qualms about ordering the most expensive thing on the menu because they're entitled. They're entitled, and there are a lot of entitled women out there. And I got a little bit sour on this gal that I came across on YouTube recently who said, well, I'm not going to get dressed up and drive my own car to meet some guy who isn't going to pay for me. I'm going to say she's entitled, and she's using a man because she's like, well, you got to pay for my company. Then, honey, be a prostitute and just be straight up. Then just be a prostitute and be straight up. But I will tell you from my own past experience, from knowing ladies in that industry, men don't pay for dinner dates unless you're like a sugar baby. They'll pay for sex. They're not going to pay for dinner dates. You want a man to pay for your time, then just be straight up and be a prostitute. I know this is going to sound very shocking to women who have, I'm smashing your lifelong dream of Prince Charming, where just because you exist, a man's going to pay for you and treat you well and buy you things just because you exist. That is a myth. It's an infantilization. It's treating yourself as an infant, as a helpless child. Now, what should a man do? I think about men who are very frugal with their money. Young men today have a lot of financial stress on them, you guys. They have student loans. They're trying to save up to buy a house. They don't have the financial security they used to. And to go around blowing foundation setting money on impressing a woman is really stupid. A woman should want your company because she likes you. Now, if I were a man, I would not pay for a woman on the first date. I would not. Because I'm not going to pay for her affection. And I'm not going to pay for her time when I'm dating. If I want to pay for her affection or her time, I'll hire a hooker. This is my opinion as a woman, as a mother, as a grandmother, and as a proponent of men. I'm speaking on behalf of men and how I would act if I were a man. I would pay for a woman after I already have her affection. The same way that I don't give sex to a man that I don't know. I would give sex to a man after I have his affection. So a woman saying, I'm never going to go on a date with a guy and get all dressed up unless he pays, is like a man saying, why would I want to hang out with this bimbo if she's not putting out? Yeah, I like that. A woman saying, I'm not going to get all dressed up, put on my expensive makeup and expensive clothes, and drive somewhere just to go Dutchies. You better pay. Better pay for the date. If I'm going to go out, and I don't know what she was expecting. I don't know if she was okay with a $5 cup of coffee or if she wanted a $100 dinner for herself. That's like a man saying, I'm not going to go out and meet this woman if I'm not getting if I can't stick it in. She's not coming back to my place. In fact, I'll just invite her right over. I don't even want to go out. Just have her come right over. You can do that. To me, that just sounds very transactional. I think, and what has made this so artificially transactional is how we meet people. Now, if I were a man that was working somewhere, I knew this lady at work, I really liked her, I might pay for her. This is the only reason why I would pay for her. If I knew she already liked me, and I really wanted to do something for her based on our connection. It's kind of like, have you ever felt like, your friend is down and needs something, or, you're at the store and you remember so-and-so also likes, this wine or these flowers, and you pick them up a pair, or you're baking cookies and you give some to your neighbor, or, you just want to give someone something, this feeling of wanting to give, that's the only time someone should give, in my opinion. I want to give you, not I should, I'm obligated, I'm manipulating you to get something back, whether you're affection or sex. That's not giving. That's not intimacy. And for all of us ladies who are expecting men to pay, do we ever ask, does he really want to, with nothing expected in return? And would I give this guy sex with nothing expected in return? Would I? It's the same for a man. And would you want to pay for a man? Okay, let's just put aside the whole sexist thing. Say that you're the woman earning, say that you earn on a good career path and you're dating this guy who just finished law school or medical school. He's full of debt. Would you pay for the date? He's got good earning prospects. He wants to provide one day, but would you pay for the date as an investment in him? Or would you think, men should always pay? Why should men always pay? To me, it shows a lack of empathy for a man. It shows hostility towards men and using a man as an object. Now, for me personally, when it comes to having sex with a man, I would not want to have sex with a man who was going Dutchies with me. Because once a man has developed affection for you, he should be wanting to do things for you. He should be wanting to do things for you. But you should be wanting to do things for him. Maybe he takes you out, maybe you cook dinner, maybe you take him out and he cooks dinner. I guess a lot of it comes down to us really asking ourselves, what type of relationship do I want as far as roles go? Because the roles are transactional. I pay, you take care of the house, the kids, and give me sex. That's transactional. Or roles. What kind of roles do you want in your relationship? How intimate do you want to be in your relationship? How many things do you want to do in your relationship because you want to do them versus you're obligated? I don't want to have sex with you, but you're paying the bills, so okay, I'll just lay here and let you fuck me. It's called women being starfish. Duty sex. Do you want your wife to have duty sex with you? I mean, when these things come up, I think they're good discussions. I think it would be great to go on a date with a guy and go, you know what? I kind of like a man to pay for me, but how do you truly feel about paying for a woman? What makes you want to pay for her? And what do you expect anything in return? And ladies, what makes you want to have sex with a man? Want it, without needing anything in return. Or what are you wanting in return? Because the greatest resource a man has is his money. That is how men are judged. That's what men work for their whole lives. To earn money, to make money, to impress women, to be status. That is their greatest resource, like ours is beauty. And when men part with their money, it's a great offering. It's an offering to the gods almost. Because we don't want to part with our money, why don't we want to pay for a man? It's my money. The world has changed a lot. Men are no longer the dominant earners. Over half of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, mired in debt. I knew a couple where early on he started out spending all this money on her, just love bombing her with money because he was needy. And she didn't know it at the time. It was all done on credit cards. And then eventually he had to pull back. He started out with the boom and then he went bust. He couldn't afford it. I've gone out with guys. There was this guy I went out with a couple years ago, this 27-year-old Marine infantry guy. I love those infantry guys. And we went out to dinner and he paid. And since he was a Marine, I knew he didn't make a lot of money, so I went someplace I like to go, but not the most expensive place. Someplace that made sense. And he wanted to pay. He really wanted to pay. Now, at that time, we'd already been having sex, and he'd come over and we'd made dinner together or watched a movie together. And he wanted to pay, and I let him. I could tell that he really wanted to, out of his heart and out of his kindness and generosity. And that was really nice. I'm going to make another video about how people secretly feel, but let me throw this on at the end. Sometimes people do things for you and they're silently resentful. And I've had this happen to me and I didn't even know they were resentful because they didn't say anything. And that's one thing that I really want to learn now is choosing better friends. Because the last person who was silently resentful of me ended our friendship because she kept getting too triggered, and I didn't know she was hating me for things she would get triggered by me that I didn't even know. And my ex-husband was resentful of me a lot, and I didn't know. I kind of suspected it, but he didn't say anything. So here's the thing about people who are passive aggressive or who are uncomfortable or avoidant people. They won't tell you when they're angry. They may not even act it out or show it. They're going to suppress it because they don't want to be angry, but they're angry. And I want to be able to learn those signals. And I think a guy paying could be the same thing. He doesn't want to, but he thinks he should. And I only want to be around people who are hell yes to everything they're doing. I want to be around people who are authentic and who are hell yes. I want to pay for you. I want to have sex with you because I want to. I want to for my pleasure. I want to because I like being generous. I want to because I value this friendship and I want to invest in this friendship. I want to for me. I want to for this friendship. That's, what I'm getting at. But because I value authentic relationships, or I'm working towards having more and more authentic relationships, and being empathetic and being empowered and having healthy boundaries. So with that in mind, why would a man pay for a woman that he doesn't even know, that he just barely met online or somewhere out in public? Or even, why would he? Would he? I want to hear from the guys. I want to hear from the ladies. And when you talk about men paying, I really want to make the distinction between paying for a woman he doesn't even know yet versus a woman that he's known for months through the gym or whatever. Is there a difference for you? Are women really too entitled? Do you think it's fair to say, money is to men like sex is to women? Is that a fair analogy? I would just love to have a discussion about this. And thank you for watching my video.